No, man, but you got to keep going. What am I going to do, quit? That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it? You make it work for you. You never give up, man. That's my philosophy.
Hey gardeners, hope you're all having a great week out in your gardens. Or at least I hope that you're able to get out into your gardens. But anyways, we're just here in the studio right now finishing up a really fun interview that I just did over at Nate's channel, Garden Like a Viking. We had a really great fun discussion talking all about seed starting and all sorts of other great advice for your garden this year. It was a really great conversation with Nate. We're doing a bit of a double header today because, as you see, Nate is our guest for today. So I was on his show. He's going to be on with us here just a little bit later to talk about what he's got growing on and coming up this year in 2026. Plus, we've got the hobby Homestead with us as well, too. So, all right, everybody, let's get growing. All right, all my passionate plant people and garden enthusiasts. Welcome to the Let's Get Growing show right here on the Urban Gardener channel. I'm Enoch. I'm your host today. We've got a really, really great show ahead for you here today. Today's special guest is Nate Muri from Garden Like a Viking. Yes, that's right. As you just saw there in the opening clip, I was on his show just a little bit ago. We had a great conversation about all sorts of gardening topics, and yeah, we'll have him here on just a little bit later on in the show. And then we also have Amy from the Hobby Homestead joining with us here in just a few minutes as well, too, for our Are You Following Me segment. So definitely stay tuned here for these great interviews with these awesome gardeners here on the Let's Get Growing show. And if you can, definitely I want you to jump into our chat right now, too, because we are going to have our roll call coming up here in just a few minutes, too. So jump into the chat. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're growing from. Let me know what you got growing on in your garden going on right now, too. So definitely love to hear from you all in the chat there, and we'll get you a shout out here on our roll call coming up. And if you can, too, here at the top of the show, let's go ahead and click the like button, hit the thumbs up, as well as subscribe and the bell notification so you can be notified of all of our upcoming live streams here on the Let's Get Growing show, as well as share with all your garden friends out there and let them know about a really fun show here that we have here coming up here on the Urban Gardener channel. We have our new this year anyways is our 3-day gardening weekend. It's your gardening talk weekend here on the Let's Get Growing show here every Saturday and Sunday as usual, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. But also too, we have our new show, The Green Room, on Monday evenings. So come and check us out there with our good friend Natalie from the Fresh Princess as our co-host for The Green Room on in the evening time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll definitely want to come and check out our new show on Mondays. I'll talk about that and who we got coming up this week as well, too, just here a little bit later on as well. Also, shout out to all of you who are watching the replay, too. Thank you, Team Replay, for being here. It's always great to see you. Definitely drop into our comment section down below, too, just like our roll call. Let us know where you are, what you're growing, and love to hear from all of you. Even if you just want to stop by and say hi, so definitely do that. And again, if you're here with us, join the conversation in the chat with us here, especially as we get our guests on coming up here in just a little bit too. Drop in any questions that you might have for them as well too into our chat, and then we'll try to get those asked of our guests when we get them on here. And also too, links down below to our guests. Go and check out what they've got going on. Check out their channels. Check out maybe one of their recent videos or something there, and go leave them a comment and let them know that you saw them here on the Let's Get Growing show too. I always appreciate it when you guys go and do that. Go show some support to the guests who are taking their time to be with us here on our show. And also letting them know that you saw them here. That's great. You know, it's a great way to support both our guests and our show. And it's really easy to do. Just follow those links down below, like I said, and go find all of all of our guests in their different channels there as well too. So right on, everybody. Again, thank you all so much for being here with us today. I do want to mention though too, real quick here. Also, it is our show sponsor, IV Organic. It is the last day of the month. This is February 28th, the very last day of the month, and it's the last day of their annual free fruit and plant scion giveaway over at ivorganic.com. And you want to go and check that out and take advantage of their free giveaway here on the last day. So definitely go do that over at ivorganic.com. Use our promo code GROW10, and that'll get you 10% off of whatever you purchase there as well. They got an awesome 3-in-1 plant guard, which I always suggest every gardener needs in their garden shed for sure. So definitely go get yourself some of the 3-in-1 plant guard, get 10% off, and get some of those free plant scions and all of that as well too, that they're offering there on the very last day. So don't miss out. So definitely do that if you can. And yeah, right on. So again, everybody, hopefully you've all been having a great day and week, as I mentioned at the beginning too, out in your gardens. I know some of us are still under some snow and cold temperatures and all of that, so it's a little difficult to get out there and growing, but I'm hoping you're getting some seeds started or something going on that's going to get your gardening growing season started, because again, it's always that, you know, that fun anticipatory time of year where we're just like, oh man, we want to get out into the garden. You know, some of us are fortunate enough to already be out there growing things and harvesting things, but it is a, you know, a great time of year as we're all thinking about and looking forward to this upcoming growing season, you know, here in 2026. So hopefully everybody's getting something going and growing, because it's time to get this fun started in 2026 for sure. So excellent. Not much myself. I mean, I've been working on a bunch of cleanup and things that have been going out in my spaces. I've done some direct seeding. I haven't seen too much of anything popping quite up yet, but I know it's happening anytime. There's still some things that are out there from stuff that we've overwintered. I see also our garlic is really starting now to start making its move for the season as well. I've been noticing all of that out there. And spring flowers here where we're at in Southern Oregon are already starting to pop up all over the place. And I'm seeing all the greens from all of the ones that are going to be coming up a little bit later coming out, as well as our fruit trees. I was out there looking at them and checking on them, and all the buds are forming up and everything. So we should be having flowers coming up here in the next couple of weeks for sure. So again, it's just an exciting time of the year as things are starting to come alive and the garden's about to get going this year. So I'm really, really excited about what we got coming up here for this year too. And excited about what we got coming up here for the show as well too. But we got lots and lots going on. So as I mentioned too, everybody, let's go ahead and get this going here. I think we should go ahead and jump right into our roll call.
My name is Kevin.
Yeah.
That is my name.
Yeah.
They call me Kevin.
Yeah.
Because that's my name.
Roll call.
All right, everybody. It's roll call time. So that means it's time for us to jump into the chat here and say hello to everybody joining with us here live on the show. And first off, we have to say hello to our good friend Jay Dixon. We know her best as the J-Bot, our show facilitator and producer, joining us from Midwestern Ontario, Canada. Thank you, Jay, for all that you do. It's great to see you here with us today. And as well as I saw just before we were getting the show going, we had VA Green in the chat there saying, ready and waiting, and converting my old 10 by 15. Right on. I hope that's going really well. I also say good afternoon to listening as they're converting the tool shed into a worm house. Ooh, well, that sounds like some fun. Right on, right on. I always encourage people to grow where I do my own vermicompost, and I have my own worm bins and all that sort of stuff that I do, and harvest my own worm castings for some worm teas and different things that I use those for. But it would be really cool to have a 10 by 15 shed and really be able to build that out and have all sorts of worms and worm farms going on there too. So hopefully that's all going really well for you. As well as we've got our good friend Bowtie Life. Triple G Gardening, Global Gardeners, just finished clearing the raised bed and about to spread seeds. Nice, nice. Exactly. That's kind of where I'm in the clearing part still myself. That's where I'm in the clearing part. I've done, like I said, few seeds for some greens and some lettuces and things like that should be popping up any day. But we haven't really gotten out there to get really seeding everything out. I want to get some good root crops and some brassicas going out there and everything too. So hopefully we'll be getting those going here real soon. I see Rob from Rob's Allotment Gardening joining us. Good day. Joining us from the UK. It's good to see you, Rob. Thanks for being here with us. And I see Robin Gardens joining us from Chicagoland. She says, you still got snow flurries. She says, I'm so done with the snow. I know. I feel for you all. I feel for you. I mean, we just had like a little bit of a snowstorm about a week or so ago. It wasn't very much. Snow didn't stick around very long, but we did just get a little bit. But I feel for all of you who are buried in it and have to get through all of this before you can get out and work in your garden. Like I said earlier, hopefully you're getting some good starts and some things going ahead of time indoors and all of that as well. And I know another person who's up in the cold here too, our good friend Paul from Guten Gardening as well too. Hello, Paul. Great to see you there. Great to have you here with us. As well as Brett joining with us. Good afternoon from Omaha. 42 degrees, but its sun is out. Yeah, at least the sun's out. 42 is not too bad. It's still a bit chilly, but yeah, not too bad. We've actually, I have to say, we just had like this little warm up. It was kind of like 40s, 50s there for a little bit, but we just got right up into like 62. Over the last couple of days. I think we were the high the last couple of days. And I think it's going to get cool again here real quick after this. But we had just a little bit of a warm spell. And then Joe from Muddy Puddles Farm joining with us here. Good evening from sunny Cornwall in the UK. And she says she's been prepping her annual garden this week using pig power and elbow grease. Right on. Excellent. Thank you so much, Joe, for jumping in here with us. Also, I see we got gardening at home as well, too. And good afternoon to you as well. And says, I love all of your plants in the studio. You're right on. Yeah, exactly. We got all these great plants here. And yeah, a couple of weeks back, you'd have to go look. We had Maria from Growing Joy with Maria, and we did some talk about all the house plants. Normally, we're talking about gardens and growing food and those sort of things, but we had Maria on to talk about all of our house plants and stuff too. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what we got going on back here, you can go back and check that show out as well too. I see Kevin in there. Hello, waving out to everybody. Good to see you, Kevin. It's great to have you here with us, as well as Big Will Dog joining with us here too. Hello to all of our garden friends. It's a somewhat warm and sunny day here in Indianapolis. That's great. Love it. See the sun out there. Dusty Flats joining us as well too. Howdy there. Great to see you. And Guten Gardening, he's in there. Your mic volume is perfect today. I wish that was the case for our last show. We had an issue over at Nate's show as well. We kind of got a late start trying to get everything hooked up right. I ended up having to hook up a backup microphone and everything, but I think it was going through into that side there too, because when we hooked up on this side, everything seemed to be sounding good and going good. And so we'll see. We'll see here. And then we also have Pam Pottinger joining us from South Africa. How awesome, man. That's really great. Thank you for joining with us here. It's great to have you with us, joining us from South Africa. And it's 9 p.m. Oh, awesome. 9 p.m. in South Africa. Right on. Well, thanks for hanging out with us in the evening there and checking out our show. It's really great to have you here. And see, Big Wildaw says, the warm temps have convinced my strawberry plants it's time to grow. They don't know we still have 21 days till spring starts. Yeah, that is kind of the thing, is that when we get these warm temperatures that pop up, and that's the case for me here as well, with these nice warm temperatures over the last few days, that's really encouraging a lot of stuff out in the garden to go ahead and start popping and going and everything. But we still got some cool days coming ahead. So we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on things as we keep moving forward here. Rob says he's been in the attic most of the day transplanting plants. Well, that's awesome. Hopefully you got lots of really great things growing on there. And Gardening at Home says it was 50 here in Minnesota yesterday, high of 20 today, though. Ooh, yeah, that is cold. I'm indoors sowing seeds. Right on, right on. Nope, nope, nope. In there saying hi, everyone. Cameron from Las Vegas here. It was 80 degrees yesterday. Now that would have been nice. I know a lot of us jealous about that, but right on, right on. Serena here joining with us. Hey, Serena, it's great to see you. Right on. And Gardening at Home says, I have that show with Maria on my playlist to watch this weekend. I'm a big houseplant gardener and did that exclusively for decades before I could grow my own food. You have a nice collection. It's nice. It's nice. They're really basic, really simple plants, but again, it was like you. My first real passion in growing plants was all my indoor plants, and I didn't learn to get growing food until I got into my 30s. So it took me quite a bit later. I'd been growing houseplants since I was a little kid, so it took me a while myself to get onto growing food. But yeah, I'm so glad that I finally did, though, for sure. So right on, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining with us here and jumping in for our roll call there as well, too. So again, it's great to have you all here. And what we're going to do now real quick here is we're going to go ahead and take our first little break here real quick, and then we'll come back here in just a moment with our first guest of the day. Amy from the Hobby Homestead is joining with us.
Ivory Organic was founded on the gardening concept of whitewashing, simply lightening your plants to better tolerate weather extremes, transplant shock, and so much more. Such a valuable gardening practice that farmers have been doing it since BC times. However, in recent years, most research has been caring for plants and trees using latex and tar-based products which are designed to last 100 years but fall off your plants within 1 to 2 years as your plants grow, contaminating your garden soil indefinitely. Available in colors white or more natural looking colors such as brown, green, gray, and grayish. Ivory Organic has 2 general categories of whitewash products. The 3-in-1 Plant Guard, which includes 7 natural oils including castor, cinnamon, clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint, which offer insect and rodent repellent protection, and the whitewash oil-free formula. Both products also have diatomaceous earth in the base ingredients, which naturally offer some insect repellent protection too. As always, keep growing with Ivory Organics and wishing you all happy gardening.
Hi gardeners, this is Brandy, the Suburban Gardenista, and I'm here with your garden trivia for this week. And your question for today is, what is the best thing that a gardener can do during the winter months? And your options are A, plan a new garden project this year. B, clean and sharpen your gardening tools. C, start a shopping list for new native plants to add to your garden. Or D, listen in to gardening podcasts for new gardening ideas. I'll be back a little bit later in the show with the answer.
All right, everyone. Do you know the answer for Brandy's trivia question? Definitely join with us. Keep with us here, as she'll be back here just a little bit, as she said, to give you the answer to this week's gardening trivia. And also, real quick here, before we get moving on, I do want to mention about our shows last week. Last week we had on with us, last Saturday, our good friend Mr. MBC joining us from the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival. He gave us some good clips and look around. We did a live look around and tour around the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. It was one of the biggest shows in the States here. So really fun event for everybody there. So definitely go back and check out that show with NBC last week. And also last Sunday, I took the day off and our good friend Jay, our facilitator, producer, took over the show. It was a little bit of a takeover, and she had Joe from Muddy Puddles Farm. She's in the chat with us there. Joe was joined with Jay to talk all about her project in growing all of her own food and through her own space and everything too. Just a really great project. You want to go back and check out that show as well too. Also, like I said, we are here now on Monday evenings as well too, and on the green room with our good friend Natalie from the Fresh Princess, we had with us Nick Fedoroff from Things Green and Bowtie Life. David, our good friend, we see him in the chat each and every week. They were joining with us for the Green Room last week. It was a really fun conversation. If you haven't had a chance to check out our Green Room shows, you're definitely going to want to go and check those out as well too. They're really fun. And yeah, with Nick too. Nick's always really great. I've had him on the show before. I've visited him down in LA. I've been on his television program that he does down in Los Angeles, as well as his radio show. He has a syndicated radio show he does as well too. So I've gotten to do both of those. He's been on my show, so it was great to get him together with Natalie and David as well too for our panel discussion on the Green Room last Monday. So definitely go back and check that out if you haven't had a chance to check that out. And I'll mention to you guys here in just a little bit what we got coming up. But now it's time to meet our first guest of the day. It's time for Are You Following Me?
Are you following me? Are you following me, dude?
All right. Let's go ahead and welcome to the show from the Hobby Homestead. We've got Amy joining with us here today. How are you doing? Thank you for joining with us.
Hi, Enoch. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here with us. And what I'll do here real quick, though, is for everybody out there who hasn't had a chance to meet you yet and get to know you, let's go ahead and give you a little bit of an introduction. I'll give you a minute to let everybody know about the Hobby Homestead.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm here in Southern Ontario in Canada, and we're under a lot of snow right now, but I do grow a lot of my family's food here, despite our cold and snowy winters.
Yeah.
I would call myself a homesteader because of my focus on food. So we grow a lot of it, but I also, I prepare a lot of it. I preserve a lot of it. We really just work a lot with food and try to keep ourselves fed year round. I also have chickens here in the suburbs, and right now we're doing maple syrup making. So we've got some sugar maples we've tapped. We collect syrup, which I think is fairly Canadian, or at least, Northeast trend in the homesteading world. And I live here with my wife and kids, and we grow food and we build things, and we just keep ourselves busy all the time.
Wow, that sounds great. That's maple syrup. I've always been fascinated with that process and all of that as well too. But I haven't had a chance myself to give it a try. But sounds really fun, right?
It's so fun. Yeah, it's a way to get out in nature, be outside when it's cold, when we can't be growing our plants outside yet.
Wow, that's really great. Right on. Well, again, thank you for being here. And let's go ahead and start with, one of the things we love to do around here on the show is to really dig into everybody's garden story. We all kind of got a different story, a different way we got started growing and doing things, especially growing food for those of us who grow our own food. So how did your garden story begin?
I love this question also. I love hearing other people's garden stories, where they come from, how they got so into it. In my case, my maternal grandparents were Dutch immigrants. They were settlers here, and they were like OG homesteaders. They had this massive victory garden and fruit trees and animals. And I spent a lot of time with them growing up in the garden, harvesting the food and then processing the food and cooking everything from scratch. So my passion started young. I fell off the boat a little bit when I was a teenager, and I went to university, and I didn't keep it up as much. But then when I became an adult and I had access to even just a little bit of outdoor space, I dove headfirst into it again. And I've been just passionate about it ever since. My parents also are avid gardeners, so I think it runs in the family. They both have really impressive gardens. My dad is a published author on growing native plants, and he travels around doing talks. So it might be in my genes.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. That's really lucky, fortunate for you there too. So nice, long family history of growing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Yeah. I don't want to turn it to your dad too much, but tell me a little bit more about his book and that sort of stuff as well too. I think that's great. I wish I had a that author and garden dad like that too, man. I'd have had a really great head start.
Yeah. He's more famous than me. And so anytime I'm a guest anywhere, people end up talking about my dad. No, it's great. ridiculously, I can't remember the name of his book specifically, but it is something like Gardening with Native Plants of the Southern Great Lakes region. So if you are around the Great Lakes, North America, the native plants in his book are from that region. It's an excellent book. And he has another one in the works right now that is due to come out, I think, late 2026 or early 2027.
Right on, right on. And what's his name for anybody out there to look for it?
Rick Gray, Gray.
Rick Gray, Gray. Excellent, excellent. So yeah, I know we got several people who live in that area. In fact, our producer facilitators around that area as well too. So that would be a great book for people to check out. And again, too, that is one of those things that you really kind of have a passion for, in a sense, is growing native ecosystems yourself, right? And I'm sure that's something you get from your dad as well. But I mean, how do you kind of incorporate that? What do you kind of do through your space in order to help promote a good native ecosystem?
Well, first, it's taken a lot of research to try to find what plants actually were native here before colonizers brought all these plants over, the ones that we're so used to as settlers, the ones that we see and think of when we think of garden plants. So it took a lot of research. And then I started to learn that these ecosystems are really based on the original plants in the area. So things are like, they have these symbiotic relationships, plants and insects, and then the animals that feed on the insects. And so by supporting that ecosystem with the native plants, we're actually supporting a whole ecosystem that can then help us as gardeners. So I've found all of these beautiful pollinators coming to my garden now that I have host plants for them. I have birds that will come and take care of my cabbage looper caterpillars, brassicas. They'll come and just wipe out all these caterpillars for me because I'm trying to promote a space where they can all thrive. And so a lot of people, I think, incorporate flowers into their vegetable gardens in some way or another. And I plant the common ones, the zinnias and the calendula and all of that. But I also incorporate a lot of the native flowers to my area. And the nice thing about that is they're perennials, or they're self-seeding annuals. And so it's hands off. I can just put them in, and then they get better and better every year.
Yeah, that is the big advantage with the perennials, and especially native perennials too, is again, they don't need much care, because again, they're from that region, from that area. So they've survived there a long time, and without people. So it's one of the best benefits of those, right?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, you could just kill yourself trying to keep a fig tree alive in zone 6, or you could just grow what grows here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So what is it? Or let me get into this real quick, because you did mention you're still under some snow, as I was mentioning to everybody else. It is that time of year where, there's such a diversity in our regions, from those in the more south who are growing and they're already harvesting things and doing all sorts of stuff. But then there's folks up in the north like yourself as well too. They're still, biting to get out to the garden and do some things. But is there anything you got going on now? Do you get things started ahead of time? Or when does your real garden season get started for you?
Yeah, I'm a big indoor seed starter, because we have about 150 frost-free days here. So it's not bad. Like, there's a lot we can grow in that time, but it really helps to get a head start on things. So I grow loofahs here, which means I start those seeds in January so that I can be harvesting before frost in October. Tomatoes, peppers, those are all things I start inside. So, I mean, right now I've got the more tropical things started and growing, like the ginger and the loofah, some eucalyptus. And as we get further into March, can't believe tomorrow's March, then I'll be starting the common things, the tomatoes and stuff.
Oh, excellent. Right on. That's good. Well, I mean, and again, at least there's something still to be able to do, right? Even though we can't quite get outdoors.
Yep.
Right on. So what do you enjoy most about gardening? What is it? What's the one thing that really gets you when it comes to gardening?
I think The most important thing for me and like wellness is getting outside and that like
Mm,
connection to nature. I'm not the kind of person who like does sports or activities or would just go outside for no reason. And so gardening gets me physical activity, it gets me sunshine and fresh air and just connecting with nature. It feels good. It's a wellness thing. But then of course also the
yeah.
food that comes out of it. That's also a great bonus.
Right, right. The ultimate bonus to everything is we get to have our get to have the food, but we get so much more from our garden than just the food as well too. That is the important part. But like you said, getting outdoors, connecting with nature, like you said, getting some of that sunshine, sometimes is just really helpful. And always find that the garden space is a great place to just kind of escape to in a way too when it comes to all other things going on in our life as well, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can,
I'm often telling my family, I'm just stepping out for 10 minutes. I got to go water this thing or harvest this thing. And then
yeah.
3 hours later, they come and find me. They go, where were you? You just get sucked up in it.
That's right. That's right. And I always say it's the one thing that really seals the deal for any new gardeners when they start getting those experiences out of everything. They go in it with the intention, I want to grow some food, I want to grow these plants, and then along the way they're like, wow, I'm getting so much more from this garden space than what I ever anticipated.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. What are some of your favorite things to grow in your garden besides all of your natives and everything that you got going there?
My favorite veggies to grow are tomatoes and peppers. You can't buy tomatoes at the grocery stores, at least not in my climate, that taste good.
Mm,
They just taste like
yeah.
nothing. But obviously, homegrown heirloom tomatoes, there's nothing like it. And then potatoes is like this treasure hunt, right? So you just set it and forget it, and then several months later, you get to just harvest this amazing amount of treasure. So yeah, those are my two favorites.
Oh, excellent. You're right on. Yeah. Yeah, tomatoes, and as far as that goes, it's always better to be growing your own than buying them from the supermarket for sure. And that, again, too, is one of the other just great big bonuses of growing a garden, right? Is that there's only certain things we can get from a supermarket, and they're only selling us certain varieties that are good for shelf life and those sort of things. But when you get into a garden, you can grow all of these just amazing different varieties and get totally different tastes from different types of tomatoes and all that sort of stuff. And that's really, really the key to growing some really good stuff is to get the diversity of variety in your garden.
Yeah. And like I love that harvest basket that's just all different colors and
Mhm.
textures and patterns and the green stripy tomatoes with the giant orange ones. And it's beauty is just as important part of the garden as like the food and the taste is for me.
Yeah, yeah. Any particular favorite variety you've grown in the recent years?
Yeah, I actually years ago bought this tomato seed and it was an F1 hybrid and it was called Buffalo Beefsteak.
Mm.
And I paid like $10 for 5 seeds. Like it was this
Oh
wild new
wow.
hybrid or something. And I saved those seeds and it worked. And I don't know, I have like an F2 or an F3 now, but I like those seeds have grown back true to type and they're
Oh
still
wow.
amazing. They're a massive tomato. They slice beautifully. Like we make tomato sandwiches a lot and a slice can sometimes spill over the sides of the bread. Like there's
Wow.
just these massive tomatoes and they're really fun.
Oh wow. That's great. And so yeah, so you took a hybrid and it just stayed true. And now and
Sometimes you get lucky.
yeah, yeah. How many seasons have you done that now?
Oh, probably 8 or 9.
Oh, so you got a pretty stable one then for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. That's amazing. Yeah. I'm gonna have to get some of those seeds. I love a big, big tomato. It's one of my challenges here though, too, with the how we've been getting hotter and hotter during our seasons here in the summer seasons. And when it comes to variety, I have to kind of be selective of some more heat tolerant type varieties. But yeah, I love a big slicing tomato.
Yeah, it's funny. Our problem is the opposite, where
Mm,
I'll grow varieties that mature quickly because it doesn't stay hot for long enough, and so we never run into the problem of tomatoes not producing fruit or blossoms because of heat. I mean, the
yeah.
days that we get over 32 Celsius are rare in the summers, and which I think is like the cutoff point for when they stop producing fruit. The only thing that kills our tomato plants is the frost in October.
Oh yeah. Wow. So you it used to be like that for me many years ago. I could grow almost anything around here. It's just been the last several years I've been having to, confine my tomato growing to just just a few different varieties that'll be more tolerant to the heat. So anyways, what's your least favorite thing to grow in your garden?
I think it's celery, and I still grow it every year, but it needs so much water, and I don't like plants that I have to baby, really. I like things to be a little bit self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Um, and it's never quite as good as it is from the grocery store. I find like it's just not as juicy. It has a much stronger celery flavor when you grow it yourself, I have found. So like I'll use it for soups and broths and stuff, but I never go out and harvest it and put peanut butter on it and eat it like that. But I still
Right.
grow it, but it's just kind of a drag.
Yeah, yeah. Celery has been a somewhat of a challenge for me as well too. I read, and I love celery. That's one of my favorite. Like you say celery and peanut butter. I mean, come on, take me back to when I was a kid for sure. That was just wonderful. But yeah, but another thing though too, is you get a good celery variety, man. You'll never taste a better one than like again coming back to things that we're buying at the store. I mean, celery has so much more flavor to it than what we understand from the stuff we eat at the store.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I'm just not used to that flavor. I'm looking for the bland because that's what I'm used to.
It could be, right? Exactly. Yeah, I've had some pretty I guess I don't know if the real word's right, but pungent, just really like, "Whoa, this
Yeah.
is celery for sure."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely. Excellent, excellent. So, other than, your short growing season and all of that that you have up there and all that, what is probably one of your biggest gardening challenges?
So my motto as like a gardener and a content creator is to grow in harmony with nature. But
Yeah.
that's also my biggest challenge is growing in harmony with all of the wildlife. We in the suburbs have a massive white-tailed rabbit problem. They're like,
Mm,
I don't know, 6 rabbits that make their home in and around my backyard.
yeah.
They've killed 3 of my fruit trees this winter, even though I have 4 foot tall chicken wire fences completely enclosing them. It
Oh,
looks like they pushed it down, like they were trying to climb it. And so they
oh
could hop
my.
in and just completely debarked all 3 of my apple trees. And so like that's an annual problem that
Yeah.
they'll destroy things. And so it's mostly rabbits, but also like squirrels and chipmunks. They'll steal the fruit off my trees. They'll steal the food out of my garden.
Oh
And I try
my.
to be kind and say, I'm going to grow enough for everyone. But then they eat it all. There's none left for me. And it's not fair anymore.
I know, I know. It's like sometimes we're just growing for the wildlife out there, right?
Feels like it. Yeah.
I know there's nothing worse though, too, right? Everything's growing well, everything's looking good and all of that, and then you turn around one day and these guys have gotten into your garden and totally taken it out. Especially those with, deer problems and all of that, like you're saying, it's just I feel for people. I'm lucky enough I live in the city, and so mine's, more, I do more small space gardening within the city and all that. So I don't got deer wandering this far into the city to get to my place. But I know that a lot of folks who live just right outside here on the edge of the city have to deal with that a lot too, and their gardens are getting raided all the time. But luckily for me, I got other challenges when it comes down to it. But yeah, I feel for folks who've got to deal with that because they're relentless, right? They just no matter it seems like no matter what you do, it's hard to take care or get them away or keep them away, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm almost about to get a dog, even though I'm not a dog person, just an outdoor dog.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Something that's gonna be able to keep them away or push them away and all of that as well too. Yeah, but oh man, that's tough. That's tough. Right on, right on. So the hobby homestead, what got all of this started? So again, you've got this lifelong growing experience and passion for growing and all of that through your family and everything too. So where did the hobby homestead come into play here? How did what made you think like, oh, maybe I should go out there and start filming this and sharing this, right?
Yeah. So I have always been an oversharer, like to the point where I can make people uncomfortable in social situations because I share far too personal stuff with people. And so I've always used
I
the
love that.
internet as a place to sort of let off that steam of wanting to overshare. So like when I first became a mom, I had this blog and I just shared all the personal stuff and I just wanted to put it out there. And I realized I really liked that, like having a blog and having a place to put stuff out on the internet where people who were interested could come and see it. So about 8-9 years ago now, I started on Instagram with the Hobby Homestead, just showing my garden and how things were growing. And I ended up getting people responding to that with a lot of interest and wanting to learn from me. And so I thought, this is cool. I could be a teacher of all things gardening as well as just oversharing. And I think I was kind of like born to be a teacher also. I went to grad school because I wanted to become a professor, and like my favorite part of school was being a TA and being able to teach, and I love giving workshops and stuff. And so like this is just a perfect marriage of me wanting to just share my life and also being able to teach on this larger platform. So my content now that I'm on YouTube is sort of a mix between vlog style, sharing my life and my growing, and then also educational, informational videos.
Yeah, that sounds kind of very similar to what I've done and how I kind of approach things. Other than, I being a teacher, and I love folks who are teachers and all of that sort of stuff. I think it's been one of my biggest limitations is I don't think I convey the best way to other people. So I've never been the best at being a teacher in a way, but I've got a lot of great experience, and that sort of thing. So that kind of vlog style, showing what I'm doing, how things are growing, what kind of things that I'm doing, and to get my garden where I to a good place, is just kind of sharing along with the videos and doing that sort of stuff. And along the way, we are kind of teaching and showing and doing that sort of stuff. When it comes down to it, there's a lot that people can learn from those experiences, versus me trying to really like, well, this is step 1, this is step 2, and this is how you go to doing that sort of stuff. But I love it when folks are out there doing that. And that's one of the things I love about doing this show and everything, is to be able to talk with folks like yourself who are good at teaching and have that ability to be able to convey information so well, and it's a good thing that our garden community has a lot of folks like yourself.
Yeah, well, it's the beauty of YouTube University, right? Because there's all the different learning styles are addressed. You've got the people who will sit down and talk to you like you're reading a textbook. And then you've also got people out there who are hands-on showing you, like it's all out there. And it's great to have that to learn from. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So what are some of the favorite things that you've been able to do with on the channel aspect and all that? Are you got any favorite videos you've done or experiences you've had through that process of putting your channel together?
Yeah, I love it so much because I actually use my own videos to go back and look at garden progress and see how things have changed over time. So I love having that documentation on YouTube for my own benefit. And it's funny, the videos that have been my favorites have not always been the ones that were best received by the algorithm, of course. But I liked my my no-till potato planting and gazebo berry cage video that I did last fall, just because it was a really fun project. It was actually 2 projects in one video, which is probably why the algorithm didn't like it. But we took this old gazebo and we turned it into a berry growing cage. So we put a raised bed inside it and it completely enclosed it in welded wire hardware cloth, bird netting on top. So like no wildlife are going to get in there to take our berries. And then we also in that same video prepared the ground for this big plot of no-till or Ruth Stout potatoes. Gardeners may have been more likely to hear of it as Ruth Stout.
Yeah,
that was a fun one.
Oh man, yeah. And again, too, I like what you mentioned there too, because it's so true, is that we'll put a lot of work and effort into some videos that we make. And when we're all done, we're like, oh, this one's a great one. I love this. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait for people to see this. And it's just not quite. And then there's a video where you're like, oh, I just barely did anything here and did all this and that. And people are all over it. And it's just kind of the way it goes, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, definitely. Right on, right on. So again, as a teacher and all of that too, do you have any really good advice that you'd like to share with everybody as far as advice or tips for newer gardeners that are just getting started in this game?
Yeah, for newer gardeners, don't get discouraged. I think that especially with the advent of YouTube and this idea that there's like experts everywhere, I don't really believe that there's any amount of expertise or mastery in gardening that's going to solve all your problems and make everything work and make everything easy for you. I think that we are all learning every year. And whether you're a beginner or you've been doing it for 20 years, you're learning something new every year. So don't get discouraged that like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I can't do this. Just like you learn through failing. You fail up and you keep trying.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I was just on with our guest coming up here on his show earlier, and that was kind of that question was kind of asked of me, and I say similar thing there is that you really just enjoy your garden, take the time to enjoy the garden, and don't be too discouraged, because as a new gardener, things are bound to happen, and let's just roll with the punches and don't let it discourage you. And enjoy that garden space, as we mentioned before, because you're going to get a lot more out of it than just the food that you're growing, right?
Yes. Yeah. I've heard this line before too, that if you're not harvesting the food, at least you're harvesting lessons.
Yeah, that's a good one. Exactly, for sure. So, all right, Amy, it's just really awesome to have you here with us for our show today and get to meet you here. And before I let you go, though, too, similar to the beginning of the interview, let's go ahead and end with just a little bit of where everybody can find you and what you've got coming up here on the Hobby Homestead.
Yeah, thanks, Enoch. I am on Instagram and YouTube and Substack, all at the Hobby Homestead. And I am trying really hard to get 2 videos a week out right now, because this is the busy season in gardening. So there's lots of stuff coming up. I'm doing lots of seed starting. I have a little backyard orchard, so there's fruit tree pruning, and I have chickens, and so there's chicken care. Like there's a whole bundle of stuff coming out on the channel in the next month and a bit.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, this is the first year my neighbor and together we're going to be taking care of some chickens here as well too for that. So I'm looking forward to that as well. That's going to be so much fun. But right on, Amy. Again, thank you so much for taking your time to come and join with us here today. And hopefully we'll get you back here maybe for one of our green room shows or something like that, and dig more into some of these natives and all that sort of stuff as well too, because just a great conversation today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Enoch.
You got it. All right, everybody. We'll be right back here. Just one moment. We'll have our featured guest coming up here. Hey, gardeners. Thanks for tuning in to our show today. We'll be right back at it here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second here to highlight our regular videos and features here on the Urban Gardener channel. Our weekly garden journals, and our incredible featured visits.
I'm back with the answer to this week's trivia question. Do you know what the best thing that a gardener can do is in the wintertime? The correct answer is all of them, of course. True gardeners never stop gardening, or at least thinking about gardening. If your garden is covered in snow like mine is, now is a perfect time to do some dreaming, reading, researching, and planning. And a really great way to do that is to listen in to awesome gardening podcasts like the Urban Gardener's Let's Get Growing show, and connecting with other fellow gardeners about gardening plans in the works. Don't forget to look into those new native plants for your garden space this year. They not only add beauty to your garden, but help support biodiversity as well. And that's your garden trivia for today. Thanks so much for playing. Enjoy the rest of the show, and be sure to pop by and say hi at the Suburban Gardenista on Instagram and YouTube. And there'll be a link for you down in the description below. Thanks again, and happy gardening.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, I think she kind of got us there just a little bit with that one there. It was all of them. Definitely. Thank you to Brandy for doing our garden trivia this week. Definitely go check her out at the Suburban Gardenista. Link down below, as we said. And real quick here, we got our good friend Nate coming up here in just one moment. But let's take a look at what we got coming up here for this weekend. In fact, tomorrow, our Sunday edition of the show. Again, we're back here at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And it is our 200th show tomorrow. That's right, 200. We've done 200 of these shows with a massive amount of amazing guests from around the world here. So tomorrow we'll be kind of celebrating our 200th show with our very first guest on the show. Our good friend Wendy Fan will be joining with us. She was here for our 100th show, and now we got her back again for our 200th show. So we'll be celebrating that tomorrow. So come and join with us again tomorrow. Same time, same place. But again, we also have our new show on Monday nights, The Green Room. That's right. We got The Green Room coming up with our good friend Natalie from The Fresh Princess as our co-host. We've got this Monday night, Habitual Hobbies is joining with us, along with G Mama Grows Hard in the Garden. These two will be joining with us here, along with our co-host, for a really fun panel discussion. So definitely come and join with us Monday evening on the show. And then as well, I want to mention that every month we are featuring a different book for our monthly gardening book club. And that book club, we also have a co-host, our good friend Mr. MBC. He'll be joining with us, Mark Boucher-Colbert. And this month's feature is Gary Pilarchik's Growing an Edible Landscape. So we're featuring his book, Growing an Edible Landscape, and he'll be joining with us on the third Sunday of March for that really fun conversation all about his really great book. Gary is an OG of gardening right here on YouTube. It's always great to have him on the show, and you definitely won't want to miss out on that for sure. All right, everybody. He's waiting in the wings. We got a great conversation with him just a little bit earlier on his show. So let's go ahead here and get our featured guest.
You never know when you might learn something, and that's what this is about for me. These are people that I admire. Please welcome my next guest.
All right, here. Let's see if this works, Nate. Does it work this way around, huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Perfect.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
I wasn't sure if that was going to work. Do we got a massive echo or something like that? Or
I know. We had so much fun earlier. I was going to mention that just a little bit earlier, getting started with your show and everything too. So good thing. Everything's rocking and rolling right now. It's great to have you back, Nate. Thank you so much again for inviting me on. Everybody, if you want to check out that interview on Nate's show earlier today, there is a link down in the description for all of you to go follow and check that out as well too. We talked a bit about seed starting and all sorts of cool stuff there. So definitely go check that out. But again, Nate, awesome to have you back here on the show, man. It's always great to have you here.
Yep, definitely. Can you hear me? Are you sure? Because I can't quite hear myself. You. Okay,
I can hear you good. Let's see if let's get a word from the audience as well. Too, there, if you guys
is there a way that I can see the audience? Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, a little different to be on that side of it, isn't it?
Totally. Yeah, totally different. I'm like,
I know. I was really thrown off earlier too. I was like, I'm not on the other side of this often.
Okay, guys. All right. What was the question?
Well, I was just saying, it's really always great to have you here. Thanks again for being here. Again, as I was mentioning too earlier on your show, I'll just say this here at the top is, I really, really appreciate your support, and then having me on your show as well too today was just really awesome and everything. And you've been around here since we pretty much got this show started a couple years back and everything too. And one of our original guests in that first year. So yeah, it's always great to have you back here.
Yeah. It's great to be here. This was the first podcast that I was on, that I was asked to be on. So it was
really?
Oh, nice.
That's right. I do remember. I think that, that's awesome. Yeah. Again, too, I always really enjoy what you do over there at Garden Like a Viking. You got such great information. And every time I seem to listen to or follow along, and I think I kind of found that to be the case a little bit too today during our discussion and everything too, is that, most everything I hear from you, everything you're teaching and all that sort of stuff just follows along with a lot of the great stuff that I've learned as well too. Mm-hmm. So again, I think of you as a great trusted resource in the gardening world too, so it's always great to have someone out there. Right on. So, again, how are things growing? I mean, let's get into just real quick here as well, for folks who haven't followed too much along with Garden Like a Viking. Again, there's a link down below. But you kind of took some time off here just for a while here a bit, from doing live streaming and videos and things like that, right? To work on something. You want to tell us a little bit about what you've been busy with here kind of in the off season?
Yeah. I took some time off of the videos last year because, I just got a little burned out. I mean, it can take a lot from you, making videos constantly and having to come up with new ideas and then doing stuff, making that, and then you put it out, and then immediately you have to think of something, what's next? So that worked for a while and stuff, and that was good. But then the viewership, started going south. Like I fell out of the favor of the algorithm. So I realized, okay, look, this is not the way I'm reaching people, So I need to come up with something that is like a complete package. I wanted to come up with a total package for the type of grower that I have become. And it's very different from the grower that I was when I started the channel, my channel. But it's really tough. You become entrenched in a certain persona. So it's really tough to sort of, not everybody evolves with you. I could say it that way. And so I wanted to create something that I was able to distill all the practices and to cut through all the stuff that you don't need to do and to focus on the stuff you do need to do for maximum food production with as little work input as possible for busy people, that just want to grow super high quality food, the highest quality that they can, but they want to do it in as little time investment as possible. So I found the way.
That is really important in a busy world that we live in, right? It discourages folks a lot of the time from getting started growing because they're like, I'm doing all these other things, But if we get things down to a certain practice, right, we can kind of limit it down to just a few hours a week, really, when it comes down to it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the number one thing. I mean, I've done hundreds of consultations with people now and in-person consulting and stuff like that. And that is the number one thing is the overwhelm, is that people, they bite off too much and then they can't even possibly imagine expanding their garden because the little tiny patch of like weeds that they have now is just like enough to deal with,
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, I don't know how you can grow, all of your veg for yourself and stuff over in one growing season. I could never do that. But if your system is right, it's because you're floundering around a lot of times, wasting energy where it's not, where it shouldn't be allocated. And so, with the right system, you absolutely can. And it's not any more work. Once we, like this past couple of years, once we plant our gardens, basically all we do is harvest. I mean, there's no additional fertilization. There's no, I mean, we plant the fall garden, but beyond planting, that's it. No weed pulling, nothing. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah. So this course is already out now?
It is, yeah. Yep. The links are in the description of my video, or you can just go to vikinggrowingsystem.com and you can sign up for it there. So it took us a long time to learn how to make the software and stuff, but it's really cool. So we've got a course which will show you the step-by-step system, all of it like laid out in easy to follow modules. It's not like YouTube where everything's kind of scattered and everyone's competing for your attention. Please watch the video to the end. Just keep watching, please. Because I need the metrics. I need the watch time. The course is, we've already had our exchange. You pay for the course, and so there you go. It's all right there, and you get it easy to digest, and you can always reference it. And there's a private community in there. Like we have our Saturday live stream community, of course, the originals, amazing, not going anywhere. But then we have the private tribe, which is the paid community where we all help each other. It's a more, well, I don't want to say more, but the people in there are serious about food production. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at. I'm focusing my efforts, giving advice, giving suggestions, helping people develop the system that is just going to crush it.
Yeah. And again, you were kind of mentioning there too, a little bit about it. And you kind of asked, we kind of started off the show on your show a little bit earlier, kind of talking about that, but burnout, and I hadn't really thought too much about that until you'd asked me the question, about, I've had to deal with it. I've had a lot of it because, again, I'm one of those folks, like a lot of gardeners out there, who just gets into a whole bunch of things. I want to grow all these things, as I mentioned. I want to do this. I got this project, but then in order to do that one, I want to do this first. And then, so we get into all of this stuff going on. And then it's even more so for folks like yourself or even myself who are online and trying to do things with videos and our channels and stuff like that as well too. So it is really easy to find yourself in a burnout situation, right?
Oh, absolutely. And especially if you understand, if anyone knows what is called the Pareto principle of 80-20, and it is essentially says that 80% of the results come from 20% of the causes. Okay, this is a scientific, philosophical, formula that they came up with 100 years ago. An Italian philosopher or scientist came up with this and discovered that 80% of results come from 20% of the actual efforts, and that this applies to all areas of life and living systems. And so what that really means is that the vast majority of people's time is spent in low value activities. And so most people will flounder around unaware of what that 20% of really valuable activity that's producing their 80% of results, they won't know what that is exactly. And so they waste so much time. They just disperse their energy all over the place without realizing, I need to focus my energies. What is that 20% of activities that is producing the 80% of my results? And I need to focus my efforts on that and refine that.
Exactly.
And so once I really, really grasped hold of that with the gardening, it changed everything.
Yeah, it is kind of like you said, you just narrow it down to some very specific things, hone in on that sort of stuff, and then work your way out from there, right?
Right, definitely. And for me, that meant, my gardening style has changed a lot because when I first came back from the mountains in Northern California and stuff, and I didn't have a job and stuff, and I had lots of time though, but no money. And so everything had to be like free. And so I spent so much time hauling trailer loads of manures and going and sourcing free resources, hauling pallets, and then spending literal days of time busting apart the pallets, removing all the nails and stuff so I could build little DIY beds and all that. But it's free, but it didn't take into the consideration that it was a full-time job. It was like all the time. And then the way that I was gardening then, the more sort of organic mulch approach, we could say, was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to have a massive garden like this. Was a ton of work. But now that my life has changed and there's a lot of other things going on, I didn't have time for all that. So I needed to focus on what is that 20% that really makes the difference.
Right. Yeah, that's great advice too. For anybody else who might be dealing with a very similar thing, as I mentioned earlier too, it comes about too for me, I'm getting myself overwhelmed, and that's kind of what I got to do is center myself into, like you're saying, what's the most important thing that I'm doing, and then just kind of work on that versus all of the other extra stuff, and kind of let a lot of that stuff go. And that's kind of been how I've had to deal with a lot of it. It meant, maybe not making as many videos as I used to because I want to do this more so than things like you're talking about. You wanted to get this course and do these sort of things to kind of really have a refined a lesson that you could be showing and having available for people, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I've cultivated the ability in myself, but also this is naturally my personality type is very, very like focused. I mean, at the expense of everything else. So if I set a goal or a mission, I'm just, that's it. I'm absolutely completely focused on it. Everything else goes by the wayside until it's done. So like when I decided to make the course, it took like almost 2 years. I mean, a year really. Of hardcore learning the software and constructing the course and building the community, learning things I'm not interested in, like the back end stuff of web design and all that kind of stuff. Learning all of that stuff. I stopped making YouTube videos. I stopped responding to people's messages. I stopped doing anything except the goal. But now here we are. And so it's done.
Right. Well, that's awesome. It's great to see. And I hope everybody gets a chance to go check that out and get it if you want some great lessons on growing the best food that you can. Like I said, definitely think that your course would be one that folks should go and pay attention to for sure.
Thank you.
All right. So, anyways, again, how you were doing all of that this last season? You weren't making very many videos, but how did the garden grow? I mean, how did things go? I mean, in the long run.
The garden was absolutely phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
it just gets better and better. And especially since I've truly implemented what I'm calling the Viking growing system,
Yeah.
which is a combination of many different things all put together. Man, I mean, it just once it's work in the spring, you know, a week
Yeah.
or so, because we got several different gardens, big gardens, not just this one.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like just harvesting. So we grew watermelons. I mean, boatloads of watermelons last year. And so I finally learned how with the watermelons to tell exactly when they're ripe,
Oh,
which is super important.
yeah. That's always a tough one, right? I mean, there's nothing worse than oh no, it's all, we think it's right. It should be ready. It's a big full size. It's got lots of good color, all that sort of stuff. And then you open that thing up and it ain't very ripe at all. That's always the worst,
That's
right?
the worst. That's the worst, because then there's no
All
going
that
back.
time.
The watermelons do not ripen off the vine. And so that you have to have it ripe when you pick it. And
Yeah.
so it's but then we finally learned how to do that, and man, so many good watermelons. I mean, every day with dinner last year, we would grill garden vegetables. We'd like to put them right on the grill. We'd grill meat, and then we'd have thick slabs of watermelon. Super delicious, sweet, crispy watermelon. Oh man, I can't wait.
Can't wait for that part of the season again too. I had a couple okay watermelons. I grow smaller size stuff for our containers and things like that. So we had a couple of them that were pretty good. But my big one last year was the cantaloupes. Oh my gosh, I had so many amazing cantaloupes last year. They were just so delicious.
What variety in particular?
The one, again, a smaller one called Minnesota, or I think it was called Minnesota Midget, I think is what it was. It's a small variety. Again, too, I was trying and working with some of those to see how well I could get them to grow out of containers. We use these earth bucket wicking type containers that we have. And so I'm always trying to see what new things I can grow out of them and what will work. Right. And then again, you don't want to put something that's going to be need a larger root system or things to produce larger fruits, right? So if you get things with smaller fruits, they seem to tend to do a lot better. And the cantaloupes were just really great, just really awesome.
Yeah, and if it has
Little guys too.
Minnesota in the name, then it's probably particularly bred for like shorter or maybe cooler seasons or something like that. So smaller, it'd be a little bit smaller. It wouldn't be the Jurassic kind.
Yeah, they're smaller and all that, but even on the sense of temperature too, we get hot around here during the summertime, and they really did well as well too through that heat and everything too.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, so they very tolerant, did really great job. Loved them. I'm gonna probably try a couple of other different ones this next year and see how well we do with those as well too. But what are some of your other favorite things to grow? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying one thing that I would grow if I were you, try the Maduras, a honey melon from Baker Creek Seeds.
Oh,
it is unbelievable. I mean, it truly is one thing that if you pick it at its ripeness, it has to fall itself off the vine. It has to actually fall off. But if you pick it at peak ripeness, it's unlike any other experience. It's just like something that is like, what? You can't even believe this thing grew. I mean, it's incredible. So I would highly recommend it. It would grow great in that area.
Yeah. What was the name of that one again?
Maduras. It's it's an Indian melon. So yeah, but Baker Creek has it. So if you just go Madu, MADURASH, something like that.
Yeah, Baker Creek's got all sorts of just really amazing, cool varieties, and like you said, some that you've never heard of from parts of the world you wouldn't think of. Some amazing things over there. I'm gonna have to go and check that one out for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely highly recommend it. And if anyone's looking for watermelon recommendations, Alibaba. Those grow nice and big and really classic flavor.
Awesome. What are some of your other favorite things to grow in the garden when you're growing? It's things that you just got to grow every single year. Doesn't matter. Just got to have it.
Oh man, ours is all functionality based. Like the
Yeah.
goal for us is growing nutrition and life force energy. It's not just growing plants, although that's part of it, but it's all about growing the nutrition that will then fuel a thriving body and mind. And
Yeah.
so there's just no way to get nutrition as high quality as what we can grow, because anyone that is growing it for selling it, they're growing it for a business, regardless if it's a farmer's market and all that. It's better than the store for sure, but it's still not grown with the love that we grow our own stuff with, and that is what makes it. So we focus on the heavy hitters of nutrition. Lots of dark leafy greens that we saute and stir fry all summer long. Lots of potatoes. We eat them all winter long. We have them right now in the basement. Pounds and pounds of potatoes. Lots of sweet potatoes, of course, which we
Yeah.
can grow here. Yes, if you do it right. Tons of tomatoes. We love Roma tomatoes. We have pasta dishes, several times a week. So
What would be a key to, and as you mentioned that there too, because I love sweet potatoes as well too. What would be the key to growing sweet potatoes in a region like yours, a little cooler, shorter season region?
yeah, a couple of things. One, plant them in sandy-ish soil. Okay, so they're tropical natively, and so tropical soil, contrary to popular belief, actually isn't that fertile. It's not actually that rich. It's a lot of sandy stuff, and it decomposes really quickly. And so they like really sandy, loose, loamy soil, low in nutrition. Plant the slips 2 weeks after the last frost date, or at the last frost date, like we talked about earlier, after things have warmed up. So they love the heat. They love to be grown.
Yeah.
You can grow them through black landscaping fabric, no problem. They love it.
Exactly. And again, one of the things we did touch on earlier is soil temperatures, right? Especially for those warmer season crops like that, sweet potatoes, squash, all that sort of stuff. Oh, there we go. There's how are you doing? Oh, she can't hear me.
She can't hear anything now.
She
She's
can't
just
hear
saying
me.
hi. Says say hi. She's like, no, I can't say hi. This is Tegan. She was in the
Tegan.
comments. Yeah, she's in the comments of the video.
Oh, awesome. So great to see you. I love it. That's so good.
Yeah, they just got here. They're going to we just made a massive batch of bone broth. We've got a good source on bones, and so we get them 100 pounds at a time, and we make super rich and concentrated bone broth. And we use bone broth in many recipes. We just sip the bone broth. Tons of amazing benefits. We use lots of herbs in our bone broth from the garden. For example, lots of rosemary, sage, thyme, all of that we grow and store over the winter, and we put big amounts along with onions and garlic. So it's really like an amazing tonic. So they're about to can that. That's what they're.
Oh, nice. Again, yeah, that's awesome. We were talking a little about that. I need to get into figuring out some other preservation techniques and those sort of things, fermenting, canning, and all that sort of stuff. Sounds like some fun, the fun after stuff, after harvest, and learning and doing different things with what we're growing.
Yeah, because a lot of people want to know, how can I grow over the winter, or how can I grow longer? But here, like for places with the real winter, like a lot of us have, you need to grow all your stuff during the season, and then prepare it in such a way where you're going to store it over the rest of the year, and grow the crops that can store, and then preserve the rest.
Yeah, excellent. Right on, Lils. I'm going to jump in here. I know we had a couple of questions. Folks have dropped in here. Again, thank you, everybody, for being here today. If you do have any questions, definitely drop those into the chat here if you got a question for Nate. Let's go ahead here. Robin earlier asked, what is your favorite veg to grow right now that didn't start out well? Or just what you got growing right now?
For me, what do we have growing right now? Absolutely nothing. Sprouts.
Nothing.
Yeah. Oh no, we're still like 2 months away from anything being planted in the garden. I mean, the first thing that will be planted is onions on 4/20. On April 20th is when we plant our onions here.
Okay.
And so, but beyond that, no, there's nothing growing. I haven't started anything yet. Me and Tegan right now, after this live stream is over, we're going to go and start the onion seeds. We're going to grow several different kinds of onions. I would say onions are my favorite thing to grow. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's something you're going to get started, well before you got to get them out into the garden, right?
Yeah. So generally about 10 weeks before the last frost date,
Yeah.
and then you will plant them out about a month before the last frost date. And so, what's important though is that you don't start too early. And I've found this out, in many different ways through lots of experience as well. I am in zone 5/6, northern Indiana. And so we plant them out April 20th. But you don't want to plant them out too much earlier than that. Perennials and stuff, or things that would be biennials, like the onion, we don't want them to think that they have gone through a winter. So planting them out too early, we planted them out a little bit too early last year, and I wasn't watching the weather like I should have been, and we had brutally cold in the teens every night for like a week straight. And so that made the onions think that they went through a winter time. And so once it warmed up, almost every single onion flowered. It was terrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Yeah, and then they just want to shoot right to seed because they think they're in their second season.
Right.
Little too early, and onions can be tricky like that for sure. Let's see here. Next question. Big Will Dog was asking, at a certain point, does growing in ground become a must, or can containers be used for everything? Well, I think not everything. As a container gardener myself, you can grow a lot of things in containers for those people who are limited in spaces, right? But how do you feel about that? I mean, what's your experience between growing container-wise and in-ground? I mean, of course, we all really know that in-ground is really the best way. I mean, it's really the best, but...
Yeah. I've grown in all different kinds of ways, and there's several different ways to go about it. It depends on what level of infrastructure you want to build and what level of effort you want to put into it. So container gardenings will take more care and there's a finer margin of error than there is in the ground, because in the ground, there's so much more to draw from for the plant to draw from moisture, from nutrients. The roots can spread out, the roots are cool, and it's really nice. In pots or in containers, you just have to be very careful with that watering. You've got to be on the watering. You've also got to be on the nutrients, because most people gardening in containers don't understand that little space is going to be used up so quick. All those nutrients used up so quick. So you need to account for that. And so if you really wanted a container-only garden, you have to go about it differently. So for example, if I just had a big concrete patch or something and I had to grow in containers, I would actually grow in soilless growing medium, a combination of peat moss, perlite, and a little bit of lime. And then I would liquid feed, continuously liquid feed. I would probably, drip liquid feed, something like that. It'd be higher effort, higher input, but it would work really good. I mean, I have grown like this in Northern California, of course. And you can grow monstrous plants that way, just in containers. But for the most people, like especially where I'm at now, there's no need for all of that. If you can grow on the ground, the plants want the earth. The plants, they want the earth. They want to be in the earth. They want that ionic exchange between the roots and the atmosphere. They want all of that, and they will do the best by far in the earth.
Yeah, it's always the best deal if you got the ability to have an in-ground space. Maybe if you don't have your own space, you're finding some friends or neighbors who might have some backyard space or something you could use to get in-ground. It's always the best way to go, but I don't ever discourage, because that's how I grow a lot of my stuff, is containers. And I think you're really right about the point is, watering. You got to be on top of doing that sort of stuff, especially in warmer climates like I live and everything. That's why we use our earth buckets in order to ensure that we're keeping consistent moisture in our containers for our root systems. But another one, like you said, is making sure that you're continuously giving nutrients of some sort.
Yep.
And my key, I've just found, I grew a garden just 2 years ago where I experimented with just worm casting teas, vermicompost teas, and had a beautiful
Very
garden
good.
and grew amazing stuff. And now I just use a combination of different types of teas that I do, and just kind of keep it, kind of wash the plants in a sense, and then allow everything to kind of just come down and right into the soil, and do that, like every couple of weeks or so throughout the growing season with my plants. And we do pretty well with them. You're not, again, too, right, with containers, we're also thinking about sizes of stuff. You got to have a big container if you want to grow a big tomato, big containers for bigger fruits and things like that, and try to get as a good a size as you can. And I say the smallest container for most anything I would use is a 5-gallon myself if I was given advice.
That is very good advice.
Try to get bigger though.
Yeah. 5-gallon would be the absolute smallest. And
Mhm.
5-gallon bucket gardeners and stuff like that, plants struggle. They just don't have the same results. The bigger the pot, like I grow the ginger and the turmeric in 30-gallon grow bags. I wouldn't go any smaller than that. And that's just one, that's just a few rhizomes of ginger, and it produces the whole bag of rhizomes at the end of the season. But we put an entire quart of the Viking granular nutrients in each 30-gallon grow bag. So, I mean, we really make it rich. Plus worm castings and some compost. It's super rich.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I found this was interesting. Bowtie's saying that in my garden, growing potatoes in grow bags is far better than growing in ground. And I suppose, again, too, Florida soil, your soil makeup and all of that sort of stuff is probably a big part of that. I've found growing potatoes in containers is really good, but you know what? And when it came to my area, though, I got potatoes that literally volunteer for me now all the time, because a few of the little ones are always left behind each year, and we get some good ones coming out of there each and every year. So in ground here is still pretty good, but I guess if you do got some limitations on soil, they can do really well.
The grow bags, actually the top video on my channel was one of the first ones I ever made. It's got over 1.3 million or something. And I just show people how to grow potatoes in trash bags, literally black contractor bags. And that's one way you can do it. If you have a surplus of compost, then you can grow in those things for basically free if you're making the compost. Again, a lot more work, but the whole thing is that a bag can contain the roots to exactly where the nutrients are. So that can really supercharge the plants. They're not spreading out into benign soil and stuff like that. All the root zone is right where all the nutrients are. So that can be useful.
Yeah.
You get great results like that if you do it right. For
sure. That's and again, I think it comes down to is about how we're applying things and what we're doing in some senses. But there are limitations that come along with container growing, and as long as you can live with some of those limitations, and then go for it, because I like to see people growing in any types of spaces and conditions that they've got. And if all you got is containers, then go for it.
Yeah. Yep. Go for it.
Yeah.
But if there's ever a question of what you should do, in ground will be better. Yeah.
Always. Yeah, exactly. Right on. Excellent. And so let's see here. I think there was another question. Let me get over here real quick. Oh yeah, there we go. Back to sweet potatoes. When are you starting your sweet potatoes indoors?
Me? Let's
Because you
see.
say
Now,
they're going out like later after your first frost date, your soil temperatures are warming up.
they are, yes.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
this is an interesting point, because do you remember that AI chatbot thing we were talking about how the AI would compile all of it, but it would be
yeah.
outdated? Well, when
Right.
I first started the channel, I made a couple tutorials on how to start sweet potato slips the best way that I knew how at that time, and that was in the water, in the liter of water.
Yeah.
And it took months. I mean, I would have had to have already started them now. You have to start them about mid-February
Exactly.
to plant out in mid-May. Okay.
Mhm.
So that is outdated for me. I'll never do that again. So I've
Mhm.
done so many different ways the past 4 years. And the past couple of years, I've finally, really last year, finalized the best method of all. And
Yeah.
so I get them sprouting, growing vigorously within a couple of weeks. It's incredible. So I will probably start the slips the first week of March, I'll say.
Yeah.
The first week of March. And then we will cut the vines. We'll take the vines and cut them, and then we'll basically clone them. We'll just stick the vines in the thing of water until they start growing roots. And then once the roots are a couple inches long, it's like the middle of May. If it's nice and warm, the soil's warmed up, we'll plant them.
Yeah, yeah. And so you do take the slips and root them out just a little bit more before you put them out there, or do you take them right off the potato and stick them in the soil?
No, I don't like to do it that way because in our area, there's not enough moisture guaranteed. Like in some, if you're in the south and stuff, just the humidity alone can be enough. Here, it can be really hit or miss. And so I like to root them a little bit so that they've got something to draw from. Yeah, so I will cut them. And then also, if they get the sweet potatoes are amazingly resilient because they're in the morning glory family. I mean, the morning glory is a nightmare plant. And so so you can take the sweet potato vine, if they get too long indoors, and just cut it in half and clone it, the same vine. I mean, you can turn it into 2 slips that way. And so I don't worry if the sweet potato vines get 6 feet long. You can just cut it into a bunch of little sections. Every one of those will grow into a new sweet potato.
Okay, excellent. All right, let's see here. I don't know, Bill Will Dog, I'm not sure. This question here, how do you feel about the carnivore versus vegan argument? I think both are silly. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I guess I'm in the middle, I suppose.
No, I think that, well, for me, I was vegetarian for 2 years, several years ago now. And it was, well, for many reasons. I was practicing at the Buddhist temple at that time and stuff like that. This is many years ago. And so I was vegetarian for the 2 years, because I knew the healing power of plants. It was amazing. But after those 2 years, I was realizing I was not feeling all that well. And now when I look back at pictures of myself, I look deficient. I mean, circles under the eyes and just kind of hard lines on the face and stuff. And so I broke being a vegetarian because I craved unbearably strong raw beef liver. I don't know why. So I started craving raw beef liver. And so that's how I broke it. As soon as I started eating that, oh my gosh, my body just sprang back to life, and all the vigor and the circles went away after a couple of months, and I felt amazing. So now the foundation of the diet is the meat and the animal products, supplemented at every meal with what we grow ourselves.
Yeah. So again, kind of a little bit in the middle, right? Good.
Oh yeah. Carnivore is another extreme. I don't subscribe to any of the extremes. Exactly. Yeah. No, carnivore. Nah, I don't think so. No. If we had to, we can. Yeah. If I had to choose one or the other, definitely carnivore. But no, a combination is what I feel like is my proper diet. I don't know about humanity.
Right. Right.
No.
Yeah. And again, too, it's about what fits best for us in the long run as well, too, and what makes us feel and look the best and feel the best, and that sort of stuff as well, too. So again, it can be individualized, but a good proportions, you know what I mean, when it comes to stuff versus those extremes, like you're saying.
Yeah, and the key is to have it free of chemicals. I mean, the human being is a marvel of adaptation, and we can eat a wide variety of things. That's our adaptive capabilities. But our ancestors ate things that were free of chemicals and processing, and that's the key. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Right on. So again, we talked a little bit about how everything was growing this and that last year and all of that. What is it now that you're back in gear and getting going up again this year? What is it you're really looking forward to in this year in 2026 coming up?
Yeah. So at the Viking North, we've got a fruit orchard that will be in its 3rd year. And so what we will have, we'll finally start to get some things this year. And so we're looking forward to the peach trees, the plum trees. We got blackberries and blueberries and things like that. So looking forward to really diving deep into those things and manicuring those and learning all about the fruit trees, bringing the same scientific kind of mind to the fruits now, because I don't have much experience with the fruits like that, but we're going to get much experience, quickly. And Then the watermelons, just looking forward to the watermelons. And we're going to really focus big time on sweet potatoes this year, because last year we had a little bit dismal results because it was a fresh garden in pure Indiana clay, and they don't like that.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any other alternative. So now this year we've got a plot that is mostly sandy sort of soil, and they're going to do way better. And we're going to put them on drip lines. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm definitely trying. I'm going to be working more on sweet potatoes myself. I really like them. I've grown them before, off and on throughout the seasons. But we have on every couple months, we have Dr. Jeff Pierce joins us to talk about different things when it comes to gardening as medicine. And this last time he was on, we talked about blue zones. You know much about blue zones?
A little bit, yeah. I did quite a bit of traveling while I lived in Greece for some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And one of the things I found was really fascinating is they were looking at, in Okinawa at a lot of, their diet and everything. And there was a lot of assumptions you can make right off the bat, like there's probably a lot of fish, a lot of these other things that, that they got into their diet. But when they actually researched it and looked through it all, the big base of it, the majority of their diet was these sweet potatoes, these purple sweet potatoes, which was just, the main part of their whole diet and everything. And I just found that kind of fascinating. So when I was like, all right, nothing's a cure all when it comes down to it, but I was just kind of like, you know what, I think I'm going to focus a little more on sweet potatoes over the next couple of seasons.
Oh yeah. They're an amazing quality carbohydrate, very, very high quality.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that a lot of people that just conceptually try to understand the blue zone thing, that maybe haven't lived with these cultures, is that because Greece, this areas of Greece that I was in is also part of that blue zone. And so one thing that they don't account for, it's not just the diet. It is the way of life. It is their connection to the earth still is very different than us in the West.
Yeah.
And it's their connection to each other. And it's their connection to the food. They don't just pick something up and eat on the go in their car. That would be totally absurd to a Greek. They would not have any. That would be like a clown show to them to eat on the go, something like that. And yet super normal for Americans. But in Greece, you sit down with your family or friends or both, and you have dinner. The main event of the day is dinner, and it takes several hours between cooking and eating slowly, and all of it, sharing everything, talking about the flavors, to like really eating, with your senses.
Yeah,
And
social community is huge. It's huge in that as well too. And they were showing some really interesting examples of how that was applied, in these different cultures and stuff too. Like you're saying, they're spending that whole time, right? Even cooking, preparing, harvesting together as a family or friends, a community, and that whole process is a connection.
the whole thing is a connection, and it all is connected. And one of the biggest things that I realized is in the villages in Greece, especially because it's the closest to the West. It's Asia is very different, but the Greece is so different because every available inch of their yards is growing something. They're all growing something, growing food of some kind. Even nobody would just have a massive yard that they just mow. That would be totally absurd to them. If they had the land, they will be growing onions, garlic, leeks, peas, all different kinds of stuff. And that's it's a whole different mentality here.
Yeah, and again, we're a car culture too anymore as well, so a lot of our time spent commuting and driving around and doing things. Whereas I thought one of the more fascinating aspects of this documentary I was watching on the blue zones was in Italy, when they were looking at folks who had the longest longevity. These folks were like living at the top of these hills. And that's what it was just the walk, having to make the effort. And so we take a lot out of the idea of technology making things easier on us, or cars and these sort of things, so we don't get out and do just the regular everyday physical activity, which I think is great about what we do with Dr. Jeff, is talking about how even our gardens can be a gym in a sense, a way of how we're doing things in a more natural way than we would at the gym, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's the best kind of movement pattern that you can get into. Getting up and down from the earth is a majorly beneficial movement pattern. And a lot of people that ask advice and I hear comments and see their gardens and stuff, and I'm sure you know, but so many of them are talking about how they've got limitations, and so they have to make tall raised beds. I can't be bending down like that. I can't be bending over like that, you know? And I understand that. I understand there are some with legitimate physical conditions, but at the same time, that kind of mentality is, in my opinion, why you can't get down and do it, because you need to just do it. You need to just, unless you have some kind of actual medical limitation, really take the effort to just get down on the earth and get back up and get down and get back.
Yep.
Hope it didn't kick us off.
No, I think you're good.
So really take the time to, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, so really take the time to, you know, and it'll be a little bit of a transition period if you're not accustomed to it, but getting up and down from the earth, hands in the soil, don't be using gloves, feet in the soil when you're in the garden, you know, it's amazing. Shirt off, you know, it's just awesome. That kind of feeling.
Exactly. And it just comes down to the fact of how awesome gardening truly really is that it's just a multifaceted activity in a sense that we can do. You know, not only are we growing food that's going to be great, nutritious for us, but we can get out and get the exercise that we need, plus getting out in nature, getting out in the sun, like you said, you know, and getting all these sort of things that the human body really needs, you know, that we're lacking a lot in our more modern lifestyle, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is what our ancestors did since time immemorial. It is what the human body and mind is designed to work with, you know, and not just for the body, but it calms the mind with that kind of movements and that kind of effort in the body, and groundedness calms the mind.
Yeah, it really does. And that's that again, another benefit as you're doing all of that sort of stuff is that now our mind is kind of recharged, if you will. You know, we can go out for a recharging, even though we're exerting some energy and getting some exercise and doing all that sort of stuff. I always feel this sense of like recharge when I get out of my garden. Relief in a way from, you know, some things that, you know, whatever's going on. Because our lives can be busy and chaotic at times, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's an actual measurable effect of ionic exchange between the earth and the things above the earth. When you touch the earth, it's measurable. The exchange of the ions. So it really does that. It takes from you the ions that need dispelled from the body. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like Habitual Hobbies is saying right here too, I very rarely use gloves when I'm out in my garden. I think that kind of goes along with that though too, is there's certain things, you know, that I'm going to make sure I got some gloves on if I'm handling and doing that sort of stuff. But I want to take advantage of as much of my ability to get my hands right in the soil, you know, as possible, just for that connection, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And I'm convinced that being in touch with the microbes is wonderful for you, because your skin is permeable. Anything you put on the skin gets absorbed into the body. This is why a lot of medications are just gels that you rub onto the body. And so I feel, and I don't have any scientific backup for this, but I feel that it's very important to get your skin in contact with microbe-rich soil.
Yeah. How do you feel about the idea of grounding?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, well, okay. The idea of grounding, I feel like, is a Western construct, because any of our ancestors would just call it existing.
Exactly. There you go.
You just walk out. I mean, what are you talking about? You know, grounding. It's like, oh no, this crazy new thing where you go outside and you put your bare feet into the earth. Yeah. I'm like, you're describing going outside.
Exactly.
You know, and so, but that's how disconnected we become as a culture, that we have to call it a thing and an activity that we're doing what we are designed to do. You know, go outside, hands and feet in the earth, get the sunlight. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and it kind of goes along with the idea we even kind of was touching on a little bit earlier on your show about AI and these sort of things and these technologies and all that sort of stuff are kind of push us away from the natural way of life that we should really be kind of focused on. You know, we shouldn't, you know, it's good to have some technologies and there's some benefits to a certain bit, but we've got to kind of really make a concerted effort to bring ourselves back to just kind of how we originally were in a way, right? You know, people, like you're saying, people walked around barefoot all the time. It was no, people were connected to the earth in a totally different way than what we are today. And we have to kind of almost relearn that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right
Yeah.
there with you.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Pretty wild when you think about a lot of stuff. And you know what? I'm right in the middle of, kind of programming myself from that. I grew up in this culture, if you will, here in America, or Western culture, in a sense, that's kind of moved away from a lot of these values. But it's really kind of important.
Majorly important. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can probably look at a lot of the problems we have, when it comes to a lot of things, mental health issues, physical issues, all sorts of stuff that could be really taken care of with a better connection to nature. And what better way to do that than a garden?
Yeah, absolutely. And the connection, and then the food that you get from it, and in our modern world, the top issues, the top killers are not things that you catch. They're not a virus that you catch. They're things you develop over time through your lifestyle, cardiovascular, things like this. And just becoming stiff and becoming unused. The human body was meant to move and to eat fresh living food in as close to its natural state as possible. It was not meant to just sit under artificial light, staring at artificial screens, and then drive to the store and get some box of artificially processed stuff and put it into your body. Just over and over and over and over for a lifetime, and then wonder why we've got all these ailments.
Yep. Yeah, it's not too hard to figure out. And again, I like one of the comments there was about, I guess I did a lot of grounding when I was a kid, right?
Oh yeah.
And think about that, all the healthy energy and all that sort of stuff kids have as they're doing all that sort of stuff just kind of naturally to them, right? We put on our shoes and get in our cars and do all this sort of stuff as we become adults and kind of lose connection with that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we definitely do. If a lot of people would take stock of their life, they'll realize that they're sitting at work, and then they're sitting in their car when they drive to the gym, and then even at the gym they'll sit down on machines, and then they'll sit down in the sauna, and then they'll sit down in their cars, they drive back home, and then sit down to watch TV before laying down to go to bed, and then wonder, why am I so stiff? My stuff isn't working like it used to.
Oh man, yeah. Again, like another one of those things in that documentary is the folks who live in cultures and places where they're just constantly squatting. You know what I mean? They sit in a squat, and they got to get up 30, 40, 50 times a day. From whenever they sit, it's down to a full squat and then a full stand up versus getting into a chair. Which meets you halfway. You know what I mean? And just totally eliminates the whole effort that you're putting into it. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I when I would go into some villages, especially in like Asia and India and Nepal, and also like in Morocco and things like that, these cultures, they will do the squat instead of stand. So I would walk into some villages, and they would just be like listening to somebody talk, give like a talk about something, and there'd be like 20 or 30 people just all squatted down for like an hour, just listening to them, just like no, and then you come to America, most people can't even squat down, period, without falling over like that.
Exactly.
That's how stiff we become.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And again, that's just big benefit of growing a garden. Get yourself out there, reacquaint yourself with our natural way of moving and doing things and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, right on, man. I mean, it's just really awesome to have you here with us today again. I just want to kind of talk a little bit more real quick before I let you go too about, you got your course, you got all that sort of stuff going on right now. And I think Jay's been putting the link in there for everybody as well too. But you want to, before we let you go, maybe kind of give us a little sales pitch or a little, kind of break it down into a little concise little bit for us there. Let people know what they're going to be getting with that.
Yeah, definitely. It just, like we've said, I mean, if you follow my stuff, then you already know. But I'm all about like optimizing for results. And then also the other variable is your time input. And so using systems thinking, all of my stuff is thinking in systems and cycles. And so when I developed the course, it is with the intention of maximizing all those things that we talked about, the high quality, nutrient dense food, and doing it in such a way that is still connected to the earth and takes as little time as possible. Because here, especially now, like as life becomes more, and for me as well, becomes more involved, more people involved, and kids now and stuff. And so I just don't have the time to be out there nonstop weeding and watering and fertilizing with all, every once a week and stuff like that. So I put all my energies to creating a system that only requires one fertilization a year and nothing but water the rest of the time after that. And it's all on automation. You just plant and you go out there and you harvest. It's literally unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, so if you guys want to check that out, you can. If it's not your thing, then by all means, not a problem. Next year, I will be having the Ultimate Viking Seed Starting System Masterclass available course, and several other miniature grow courses, like how to grow ginger, probably sweet potatoes, and turmeric and onions. Those will be the first ones. And so...
Yeah, just kind of get specific with it right there, right?
Yeah. Those will be much smaller things, like a mini course, maybe 5-6 videos about everything I know about how to, because I feel like I've perfected those things, definitely the ginger and the onions.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right on. Excellent. Well, I mean, it's again cool that again we missed out on some videos last year and had to take a little bit of a break and everything like that as well, but it's
Come
great
back stronger.
coming back even stronger in 2026 and got lots of things going on. So for everybody out there who might be just meeting Nate for the first time here on this show as well, again, we got links down below to his channel, and I know Jay's been dropping in links to the Viking Garden System that you have there as well.
Yes, thank you, Jay.
And definitely go and check those out. Go get his course. Go learn a little bit more about growing the best quality food you can out of your garden, Viking style as it is, right?
That's right.
Maybe go join the Viking tribe and all of that as well too. But again, Nate, it's always great to have you here on the show, and good too. This time we get you again back here together as well, or just you versus having you together with one of our other gardeners and stuff. But we got to do that again sometime as well too.
Definitely, yeah.
Because I love those. I love those panel discussions we get to have where we can share a bunch of cool information amongst each other.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
well too.
Try to get Luke from MI Gardener, and us three can talk. That'd be awesome.
That would be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'll definitely have to work on that. Yeah, for a big company guy or whatever. I've reached out to him a couple of times, but I'm going to keep trying and see what we can do as far as getting him down the road, because he was really, as I was first starting to grow and learning to grow on from YouTube University as it was and all of that, he was like still in high school.
I know.
He was still in high school doing garden information and all that sort of stuff, but was really good at making his videos, was very quality with his information and all that sort of stuff from a very young age. So I was just it's been fun to kind of watch him grow and mature into where he is now, owning his own company, his own farm and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It was all the way that long ago. As wild as
some of his videos say 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Like, wow, yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely a real OG. I would definitely love to have here on the show, and if I ever can, I definitely love to get you guys together too for a conversation. But again, thank you so much, man. As we do, right? Thanks again
for see you next time, brother.
For having you on the show, and we'll look forward to again down the road as well too. Thanks again, Nate.
Take care.
You betcha. Well, man, I was just thinking, I'd play that little bumper there to get out of our featured interview that we do here on the show and everything, but I got to change it up. I don't know why I haven't thought about that, because we got our new Monday show coming up or that we have now. And I got to put that on there. We got to change that little thing up there. Anyways, thanks to Nate for joining with us here today. What a great, great fun day it's been here for me anyways. And I hope for several of you as well who've went and watched Nate's Garden Like a Viking live stream earlier today, where I got to be the guest on his show, where he threw a bunch of questions at me, and we got to learn a little bit about seed starting and talked a bit about a bunch of other things as well too. So that was really fun to get together and hang out with him on his channel, as well as getting him back here on the show with us here today. And just really fun to hang out with him. Like I said, he's been an original supporter of us here on the show as well too. And I kind of forgot as well too that I remember him telling me that before, but this was the first gardening live stream that he ever got to go on as well too. So that's really cool to have him back. So again, everybody, if you haven't had a chance to, check out the links down below. And if you could at least do this one thing for me, go down there, maybe go to that live stream that I was on earlier today for the replay or something, and go leave a comment and let him know that you saw him here on the Let's Get Growing show. Do that for us. Nice, fun, free thing that you could do here for us on the show. And also too, I did want to kind of jump in here real quick. I know let's see here. I just wanted to kind of, I was just going to say, yeah, that's right. Someone was asking a question too that came in just a little bit late. So here's something as well too. If you didn't get a chance to get questions answered by our guests, so Amy was on earlier, so I can't ask her about the question here at this time on the show because she's not with us here. But you can always go over to the Hobby Homestead, just like I said with the Garden Like a Viking. Go over there and leave a comment, ask your question over there, let her know you saw her here on the Let's Get Growing show, and I know she would love to be able to help you out with that question as well too. So again, thank you for jumping in there, and thanks for asking your questions here today, all of you who got some of those in while we had our guests with us today. So thank you all so much. It's really awesome of you guys. And again too, that's what we're here to learn some stuff as well. So it's really great to get your guys' questions in on the interview as well too. So, all right, let's go through this here real quick here as we're thinking about what we've got coming up. I did mention that we are back here again tomorrow. It is our 200th show tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. 200 Let's Get Growing shows already. I say already, I mean, we've been doing this a few years now, but with now 3 different shows, I'm sure we're going to be racing towards 300 before you know it. But yeah, we'll be celebrating our 200th show tomorrow with our very first guest on the show, Wendy Fan. Yes, that's right. Wendy was our very first guest here on the Let's Get Growing show. She's been a longtime friend of mine here in the gardening community, way before we even did this show and all of that. But it was really great to have her for our first guest, and she came back for our 100th show as well. We've seen her in a couple of other times as well between that, but now back again for our 200th show coming up here tomorrow. And then again, the Green Room on Monday. That's this Monday, tomorrow night, or night after next, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We got Habitual Hobbies joining with us, and G Mama Grows Hard in the Garden will be our guests, along with Natalie from the Fresh Princess, our co-host. So yeah, that's going to be a really great show. You'll definitely want to come and join along with us for that discussion. And also we got a lot more coming up here next week as well too. The Let's Get Growing show next Saturday. This kind of came up because again, we're trying to fill in these community shows. So that's right. We're going to do a community show next week. We're filling them in when we are having a little issue with getting a guest booked for certain dates and all of that. And I had a couple of possibilities and some things we were running through, and it wasn't just quite working out. So I just decided that, you know what, it's time to make you guys the guest again. I love our community shows. This is a great opportunity, especially for those of you who haven't been. And if you haven't been on one of our community shows, I really want you to come back, especially if you got a small channel or something like that. You can come on, and it's like a call-in radio show, except for it's live. live right here, video and everything, just like our regular guests. We'll give you the link to come and join with us, and you can come get on with me and Jay next week for a fun little conversation and talk about what you have growing on in your garden. So definitely come and join with us next Saturday for our community show. Also, if you do know other channels who might like to be able to come on and get a chance to get on the show and get a little shout out for their channels too, let them know about our community show as well too. So get the word out, let everybody know this next Saturday on the show, we'll be doing our community show. Also, Sunday edition. That's right. We're here as well on Sundays at the same time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And this next Sunday is the second Sunday of the month. And on the second Sunday of the month, we have our good friend Gardener Scott. Scott Wilson joins us for Ask Gardener Scott. And again, if you didn't get some questions answered today and you want to come back next week and ask Gardener Scott as well, he's going to be an amazing amount of knowledge about anything in the garden. I've not really been able to stump this guy yet when it comes to garden information. And as I talk about with Nate as well too, he's one of those really big trusted gardeners that if I'm ever going to tell somebody to go and listen to this guy and what he's got to teach you about gardening, you definitely want to go and check out Gardener Scott. He'll be back with us here this next Sunday for that. And also, too, I will kind of forward promote something for Nate, too, as well. I was his guest on today's show for on Garden Like Viking Saturday live stream. I do believe he does those at 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern. He's going to have Gardener Scott as well too. So Gardener Scott's going to be doing kind of a double header, a Saturday and a Sunday on a couple of different channels. And then he always does his Monday morning live stream as well too. So going to have a full weekend, Gardener Scott will, for a 3-day weekend for him for sure on all of our different channels, but it'll be fun to catch up with him again. We always have a fun conversation with Gardener Scott every second Sunday of the month. And then of course, we've got the green room. We know what's coming up for this Monday on the green room. Well, what's coming up for the next following Monday on the green room? And yeah, we're going to have with us Rebecca from Happy Heart Gardens is going to come and join with us for the conversation, as well as Josh, Uncle Josh Gardens, the plant techie. He's going to be joining with us as well too for our panel discussion with Natalie, the Fresh Princess, our co-host for next Monday. That's the Monday after next. That's what we'll be having coming up for that as well too. So yeah, right on. We got lots and lots of things growing on around here. Lots of awesome things coming up as well too. We're lining up lots of more great guests here on the show for you all. So I hope you all really enjoy all of these great conversations that we get to have here on the show here. And let's see here. Oh, Florida Tropics. Y'all did great. Thank you. Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. So much. And we got great Nate as well, too. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for habitual hobbies. Yeah, excited to talk to Wendy. That's right. She's always fun to have on the show. She's such a great gardener and just such a wonderful, warm personality. So again, we'll really look forward to celebrating our 200th show with her all tomorrow. So again, I look forward to seeing all of you all there as well too. Let's see, was there, oh, you know what? I got to mention a couple more things real quick, because again, it's the last day of the month. And again, I do want to mention our sponsor, Ivy Organics. It's the last day for their annual free fruit, plant, and scion giveaway that they have over at Ivy Organics. So again, you want to go over there, take advantage of this today before they're all finished up with this promotion, and go and get some of their 3-in-1 plant guard. You can find it at ivyorganics.com. I recommend it for all of your garden sheds out there. Get some of that 3-in-1 plant guard. It's got a bunch of different uses, but it's really good, especially for those of you who grow fruit trees as well too. So definitely get some of that. Use our promo code GROW10, GROW10, get 10% off of the 3-in-1 plant guard, and also get some of those free fruit and plant scions that they're giving away last day today. So definitely go and check that out for sure on their last day of that promotion. And again, it's just really awesome to have you all here with us today. I look forward to seeing all of you coming up here tomorrow. Again, tomorrow for our 200th show. So I'll see all of you then.
This is the ugliest plant in the world, but I love it.